Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Guys, how are you doing?
Doing good. Anything about to pop off tonight? About to pop off?
Diet Mountain Dew, the breakfast of champions, the nectar of the gods, and I just won another case because of my hero. Thank you, Tyler Hero.
Yeah, he played. He was unbelievable last night.
Unbelievable. I thought you had me, and then my hero happened.
Yeah, unless you saw Magic Johnson's performance in 1980.
Hey, that was a kid.
Yes.
So true.
Here we go.
My hero, Skip. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. We will talk about his performance. Because, wow. But actually, we do have to start by talking about LeBron James. The Lakers don't believe LeBron is getting his fair share of free throws with only 10 attempts in their 3 games against the Nuggets. Frank Vogel told reporters, quote, "We're dealing with the fouls through the proper channels with the league. I think he's gone to the basket very aggressively, and I'll just leave it at that." So, Shannon, you know, yesterday you bet Skip that LeBron and AD will combine for 70-plus points tonight. So what exactly do you expect from the Lakers? Game 4.
I expect the intensity to be like it was in the fourth quarter for the entirety of the game. They know what they're up against, and what they need to do is to make sure this giant blaze, this little smoldering doesn't become a giant blaze. Because as they go further along, and that's what happened in Utah, that's what happened against the Clippers, they gain more and more confidence. They're like, hold on, we beat them. And we beat them again. Oh, we beat them again. And the next thing you know, you're in Game 7, and anything can happen in a Game 7. So I expect the Lakers to come out and play with the intensity that they played in Games 2 through 5 against the Trailblazers, also against the Rockets. Skip, it's unacceptable for the Lakers to lose the rebounding battle by 17. The Lakers are the biggest team in basketball. When you consider they have AD at 6'10", Dwight Howard at 6'10", 6'10 and a half, and you have 7-foot-tall JaVale, and you have 6'8" and a half, 6'9" LeBron James, there's no way. I understand if you lose the rebounding battle by 1 or 2. That happens. But you can't lose it by 19. Not against that team, because they shoot the ball entirely too well. They drive the ball entirely too well. And you haven't done your job if you force a bad shot. You've done your job when you force a bad shot and you secure the rebound.
And by the way, lowest rebound total for the Lakers in any regular or playoff game, regular season or playoff, since 2006.
Yes, they tied it.
Yeah.
In 94, in 92 they had 25. They had 24 in a game. So they tied it in 2000. Let that sink in for a second, Skip. With those big guys out there, that's unacceptable.
Help me out on the totals again. AD had 2, JaVale had 1, Dwight had 1.
Yes.
4 rebounds for 3 bigs.
Bigs.
Right?
Big bigs.
Yes.
Dwight Howard is a double-double for a career. Anthony Davis, if I'm not mistaken, is a double-double for a career. And JaVale, that's what he's there for, to block shots and to rebound.
He starts.
Yes. Yes. So I expect them to play better. And, Skip, the reason why I said the AD and LeBron need to have 70, because I'm not sure where that third was going to come from. So it's revolving. Sometimes it's Caruso, sometimes it's Rondo, sometimes it's Kuzma. Keith has been known to have a game here or there, but that's not what we can really count on. The one thing we should always be able to hang our hats on is AD and LeBron going bonkers. And I expect them to be aggressive. I expect AD to play better. Skip, it's not that he played bad, but when you look at his stat line, 27, 2, and 1, the 2 is unacceptable.
Yep.
So you're going to have 27. You need to give me 15 rebounds, because you can't let Joker and you can't let all these second chance get these second cracks at you. So that's what I'm expecting. I expect him to be more aggressive. And Skip, look, LeBron James is driving the ball 12 times a game. He averaged 13 times in the first 2 series. He shot 8 free throws a game in the first 2 series. He's shooting 3 free throws a game in this one. Driving the ball 1 fewer time.
And in Game 3, he took 2 free throws off a flagrant foul.
Let that sink in for just a second. Now, you say you want to see him. He's straight training. He's doing exactly what Skip Bayless has always implored LeBron James to do. Drive the basketball. He's drive the basketball, but for some reason, they're swallowing the whistles. But every time I turn around, I see Jokic at the foul line. I see Jeremy Grant at the foul line. I see Jamal Murray at the foul line. I see all of those guys at the foul line. But for some reason, the greatest driver of the basketball is not at the foul line. As Frankie V said, we're going through the proper channels. I'm not going to say what we aren't doing, but let's just say we put it out there.
Well, they officially presented their case to the league.
Yes, yes. And so we want some of these calls that y'all have been giving them. With that being said, Skip, I expect the Lakers to come out, dominate this game early, and win this ball game.
By what?
Lakers, I mean, look, the Nuggets always make runs at the end. I'm going to say they win by 6.
By 6. And you have LeBron and AD, because we have another case of Dubin on this, going for 70-plus combined.
Yes.
How would that approximately break down? Would it be 35 and 35, or would LeBron get 40?
It might be 40-30 AD. It might be 40-30 Bron.
Not sure.
I'm not sure.
More likely to be 40-30 Bron?
Probably AD, because I think they're going to try to get.
AD?
Yeah, probably. I think
yesterday you were more heavy on Bron.
I think LeBron is going to always try to get AD going because he knows he can get whatever he wants whenever he wants.
A lot of points.
There ain't a lot of points, not for them two.
Okay. I hear everything you just said, and I don't have big quibble with anything you just said, except I do have some perspective on those free throws that the Lakers are complaining to the league about. So I spent last night doing 2 things, watching my hero and struggling with an internal battle of head versus heart over Lakers Nuggets tonight. Because my heart keeps saying, come on, Nuggets, put them on the hot seat. I just want to see this go 2-2 and see how LeBron, AD, and the rest, and Frankie V, see how they react under real fire, true Western Conference playoff fire. I would just love to see the drama, the theater of that in a Game 5. But my head keeps saying, no, no, no. The Lakers are just better. My head keeps reminding me that in the fourth quarter of Game 3, from the 10-minute mark down to the 5-minute mark, your team went on a 21-4 run. The Lakers actually became the Nuggets in that game and did what the Nuggets did often to the Clippers and obviously to the Jazz. And 21-4 is hard to do in a 5-minute stretch of the fourth quarter. 21-4, and your man had 11 of those points, and it started with the 3 that seemed inconsequential at that moment.
Right.
But then he goes break dunk, break dunk, break dunk, and that was electrifying LeBron at his most impactful. Where for that stretch he took that game over, and I believe he hit the wall a little bit physically because how old is he?
35.
I believe a 25-year-old, I believe an 18-year-old would have hit the wall because it was such an explosion of energy that I think his legs weren't quite underneath him when he took the 3 to tie and he missed it wide left, and that seemed to be kind of psychologically the end of them. But they did do that, and they walked away from that game saying, we did do that. We had them effectively on the ropes at 101-98. We cut it all the way.
And they might have discovered something, Skip. You remember in the game, and what was it, 2015, the year before? It was Golden State that stumbled upon a lineup and a defense that gave them problems, although they lost the game.
They did.
It stumbled upon something. So Frankie V might have stumbled upon something.
Stumbled upon a zone defense featuring Rondo kind of at the point of the defense, just disrupting every dribble and every pass. And in that 5-minute stretch, it felt like Rondo took over defensively. At 6 feet, what is he, 1 maybe, 6'1"? Okay, I get all of the above. But one other head point that sticks in my craw, I'm going to bring this up again because I think it's significant. My Clippers against the Nuggets were routinely an 8.5-point favorite through 6 games. Then Game 7, they dropped to 7-point favorites because I think the odds makers finally said, okay, we got to give some respect to this other team. But they're not giving the Lakers the kind of respect that they were giving the Clippers against the Nuggets because the Lakers keep being 6-point favorites, and you say, oh, that's not that big a discrepancy, but it is from 8.5 to 6.
Skip, I think the thing is they looked at the way the Nuggets played against Utah.
Now, you can argue it's just more respect to the Nuggets than it's disrespect.
After what they did to the Clippers, they're like, we really need to pay these guys some respect.
Okay, but they're not saying that the Lakers are dominant in this series. They're not showing you that this is up close to a double-digit spread. They keep saying tonight is a 6-point game, which says, okay, this team's a little better, but it's not significantly better. So I keep hanging on to that a little bit. Now let's go to the free throws. Okay, for the 3 games played, the Nuggets have shot 90 free throws to your team's 78. Not a huge margin, not huge advantage, Denver, Usually you get to the line because you're just the more aggressive team. And you can argue that really in game 2 and game 3, they proved to be slightly more aggressive than the Lakers did in those 2 games. Okay, let's look at the big 2 on each team then. I agree with you, LeBron. He shot 10 free throws in 3 games. What? That's wrong.
Yeah.
That there's something wrong with this picture. He's made 7 out of 10.
Right.
But this is not wrong. AD has shot 32 free throws in 3 games, so he's averaging double-digit free throws. That's right. I mean, that's a good thing for the Lakers, and he's made 28 out of 32. That will work. Okay, so the big 2 for the Lakers have combined to shoot 42. Other side, Joker has shot, he's made 19 of 23 free throws. And Jamal Murray has shot 19 free throws and made 15 of those. So 23 and 19 equals 42. So big 2 versus big 2, it's 42 to 42. I don't think the league is messing with the Lakers on that. So your 2 stars versus 2 stars, it's even up at the free throw line.
When you look at Jeremy Grant have shot more free throws in 1 game than LeBron has shot in this series, there's something seriously wrong with that picture.
Okay, now to Jeremy Grant. He is really good and getting better by the dribble. He's 26 years of age, and he's up to he's ending his 6th season. Obviously, his father played in the league at a high level. His uncle played in the league at a high level. So something is going on with him. He's 6'8", and he's listed at 210. He might weigh a little bit more than 210, and he's up against 6'9", 250-ish in LeBron. But he's really good at staying in front of LeBron just the way he did. He gave Kawhi problems.
Right.
He's long and he's strong, and he's not afraid. He's physical, and he's a shrewd operator on defense. He knows the angles, and he tends to be in the right place at the right time. He doesn't get faked off his feet very often. He is a high-level defender.
Plus, the thing what he's doing, Skip, is that he's making LeBron work on the defensive end, so he can't rest. Normally, they try to put LeBron...
Especially did in Game 3 because he just said, I'm coming, man.
Right, so what they normally try to do is they take the best one of your best offensive player, put him on someone that's offensively challenged from the other team, so he gets the rest on that end. But they're telling him, you need to go at him. You need to put the ball on the floor, make him slide his feet from side to side so we can take some of the steam out of it. It might not do it early, but come late in the 3rd, 4th quarters.
I agree. Okay, LeBron is the greatest driver of the basketball ever. He is the ultimate freight train. And I do think there's what I would call a Shaq syndrome operating with LeBron, because Shaquille, at his greatest, his most dominant, it was brutal basketball. It was hard to watch. It was football basketball. And I never, from play to play, is it a block or a charge? Is it a block or a charge? I don't know, because he's just running over, but he's also getting fouled.
Right.
And after a while, they're swallowing their whistle.
Yes.
They're saying, just play.
Yeah,
I don't even know how to officiate this. Just play.
He like the oversized kid with the little smaller kid. Like, we can't call no foul.
We can't call a foul. And yet he still dominated.
Yeah.
He had Kobe, but he still dominated. Okay, so LeBron, to me, especially in Game 3, was not in what I call attack mode. And he had better be tonight. So to your point, if you're going to win this bet for me, I look to LeBron to have a better shot at scoring 40 than AD, because if he just goes into supreme attack mode from the start and says, I'm just taking it to the rim every time, and maybe they have planted the subliminal seed in the minds of the officials tonight. I'm sure they got a call from the league. Let's think about this. Let's be a little more attuned to this. Let's be a little more keen on, is it a foul of LeBron, or are we letting Jeremy Grant and others get away with bodying him? You know? Well,
consider, I don't really know who the officials are. Kane Fitzgerald and Mark Davis officiated the other night. It was Trey Maddox and Tony Brothers and Scott Foster last night. So is it going to be Sean Wright, Ed Malloy, John Goble tonight? I don't really know the officials of tonight's ball game. And I'm really like, well, you know all the officials? Yeah, I do. Because I'll be watching the games, and so I will want to see how they call Lakers games compared to how they call other people's games, Skip. But when you're absolutely right. And I think the thing is that LeBron and AD realize we hope that guys can make shots. We hope guys come along, but we can't definitively say we know which one of these guys that we can count on. The only thing that we can count on, as AD and LeBron always say, you got my back, I got your back. And so they really need to have each other's back tonight. AD needs to be a monster, not only scoring the ball, but rebounding, blocking shots. They need to challenge, like I said, and I'm not going to be surprised if Dwight Howard starts this game. But
I would do that if I were Frankie V.
Because remember, against the Lakers, Skip, they ended up removing JaVale and Dwight from that series, and Keith Morris. They went small with him. And so they need somebody that can bang with Joke early. So therefore, Skip, he doesn't get a rhythm. He got a rhythm the other night.
Dwight bothers him because Dwight plays with such edge. He nearly went over the edge, according to our man Chris Haynes in Yahoo the other night, where he was just going at the referees until he finally stepped 1 foot over the cliff. And whoever it was, who was
Mark Davis.
It was Mark Davis. Said, that's enough of that.
I don't know if Mark Scott. I think it was Mark Davis because he was the black bald-headed guy, and he's like, "Hey, enough." It might be Bill Kennedy, so I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't see Bill Kennedy or Sean Wright or one of those guys tonight at the ball game. So it's going to be interesting. I expect Bron to be Bron. He's averaging 23 points a game. That's not good enough. LeBron knows in order for them to have a chance, he needs to be in the high 20s, maybe even low 30s.
He does. He needs to immediately impose his will on this game, which he is highly capable of. We've seen it all year long. He needs to imprint himself on this game, where it becomes his game. He's in charge of it. That's by attacking and scoring early, getting to the free throw line earlier, and once you get them rolling on the backward, once you get them playing backward downhill on their heels, then you can start kicking it to the three-point shooters. And I'm going to say this one more time. In the end, these games are just three-point shooting contests. That we're about to talk about a game last night where the roles were reversed, and I don't even know how the Heat survived as cold from three as they were. But the Lakers cannot shoot 6 of 26 and hope to beat these guys. You can't. You can't shoot 1 of 8 in the fourth quarter and hope to beat these guys because you will not.
Because they're gonna make theirs. Jamal Murray get hot. They got guys that can make shots late in ball games because they've been in so many of these ball games. They're not bothered by the moment. The Lakers haven't been in these type ball games, Skip. Yeah, they're in the playoffs and made it, they're 1-5 in both series. But the Nuggets have been down 1-3 in all 3 of theirs. And they found ways to win. And what they've done is that they've kept the games close. And then, as you mentioned, they're one of the better teams operating in clutch situations. Game within 5 last 5 minutes of the game.
The most clutch time points in the playoffs.
And when you factor in that Jamal Murray is shooting 73% from the 3 in those situations.
He's hit 8.
Skip, let that sink in for a second. From the three-point line, somebody's shooting 73%. Guys don't shoot.
Clutch time.
Yes, guys don't shoot that from the free throw line, let alone from the 3 when the moment is at its highest.
Okay, so I'm glad you brought him up. He is the X factor to me. His coach, Mike Malone, keeps saying he has become a superstar. If that is true, you could be in trouble tonight, because I look at how he sort of figures his way into each series, where he starts quietly, and then against the Jazz, it got louder and louder and louder. Against the Clippers, louder, louder, louder. In these games against your team, 21 in game 1, it was a blowout for your side. 25 in game 2, and he says we should have won game 2. AD hit the shot. 28 in game 3, when they were dominating much of the game with 8 rebounds and 12 assists.
Well, that was the problem, Skip. It's not so much the scoring, it's that he scored and got other people opportunities. That's what LeBron, see, remember, Skip, that's what LeBron normally does. LeBron is the guy, you look at his numbers this year, he was 25, but he had 10 assists. And we know some of those assists come to that three-point line, and that's what happened with Jamal Murray. So you're going to have to be careful. The Lakers are going to have to do a much better job in the pick-and-roll situation, because they kill him in the pick-and-roll with Jokic and Murray.
If this game is tight with 2 minutes left, you better beware of this guy, because he lives for these moments, and he was shimmying on you the other night.
Yeah, he's feeling good.
Okay.
He's feeling good about himself.
We ain't
gonna do no shimmying. We ain't gonna do no shimmying. We ain't gonna do that. We just gonna come out there. We all business.
Okay, so I'm going to go on record. I trust your man LeBron tonight to impose his will on this game and to have a huge night and a triple-double and a dominating triple-double that matters, that counts, where he's doing all the right things at the right moments as opposed to in game 3. I'm going to go 105-101 Lakers, still fairly close, but I say they hang in and hang on tonight. And yet, if it goes to 3-1, you could make a case. The Nuggets will say, we got them right where we want them.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, the Nuggets are not quitting. Oh, you're going to beat. This is a team that you have to beat. This is not going to roll over like, oh, man, 1, 2, 3, Cancun, it's over. That's the Lakers. That's LeBron. That's AD. This is what everybody wants. No. That's not how they think. And for them to come back, it's the first time in the history of the playoffs that a team has done that twice in the same playoff, come back from 3-1, Skip. Nah, I'm not counting these guys.
But the truth is, if you go with your original prediction of Lakers in 6, that means that tonight, I think the Nuggets would have to win.
No, they don't. Well,
how's the math work?
Well, 3-1, they win the next one, 3-2, and then we win the next one 4-2.
So you're okay with them winning? Boy, it'd get dicey.
Yeah, it get no dicey. It don't get no dicey. It get dicey.
Okay. It would make more sense for your prediction if the Nuggets won tonight and then the Lakers just took charge. No?
No.
Okay, so are you still predicting?
I'm predicting the Lakers win.
In 6?
In 6.
Really?
Yep.
So the Nuggets just got a big vote of confidence from Shannon.
No, they ain't need no confidence from Shannon Sharp. They're confident as it is.
Woo.
I mean, they're already talking about they should have been up 2-1.
Yep. Here we go. Can't wait.
Feeling it. They're feeling good.
No mercy.
So the Miami Heat are now 1 game away from making the finals for the first time since 2014. And while the Heat have been led by Jimmy Butler this postseason, last night it was rookie Tyler Hero who put up 37 points off the bench for Miami. Jason Tatum scored all 28 of his points in the second half after a slow start, and after the game called his own play unacceptable. So Shannon, did the Heat win it or did the Celtics lose this one? And I know you had the Celtics.
I did have the Celtics, but Skip, the Heat won this one. The Celtics shot better from the field. They shot better from the three-point line. They out-rebounded the Celtics. I mean, the Celtics out-rebounded, did better than the Heat. The Celtics shot better from the field, 47%, better from the three-point line, and out-rebounded them. But also what they did is that they turned it over, 19-8. And 7 of those came in the fourth quarter when the game, they were ahead. And if I'm not mistaken, Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum come down on like 3-4 straight possessions and turn the ball over.
They did.
So what could have been extended upon, instead of a 1-point lead, go to maybe 3, 4, 5, all of a sudden, Miami takes the lead, takes control, and never looks back. That was the difference. In the first half, you have to give Miami credit. They the one that forced Jason Tatum to be over from the field. There was a reason why they were in the lead at the half, because for whatever reason, it's hard for me to see a scenario, Skip, that every NBA player hasn't faced a zone at some point in time in their career, because they were always the best. So the likelihood of them going up against a team full of other 5-star recruits and say, we're going to D up, Skip, you're going to see a zone, you're going to see a boxing 1, a boxing 2. So for now, that all of a sudden, it's like, what do we do? And coach is like, bruh, you got to get the ball to the middle. You got to step through, get the ball to the middle, and swing the ball to the other side. They just swinging the ball around the perimeter, jacking up threes. No, you playing right into Miami's hands. So I want to give Miami credit. And this kid, Tyler Hero, coming off the bench, giving you 37, 5 of 10 from the three-point line, 9 of 10 from 2, and 4 from the free throw line, 17 points in the fourth quarter as a rookie?
As a rookie.
He did that.
He did that.
Get him credit. He made every single play. And for whatever reason, Skip, and I understand you're going to, but Kentucky is one thing. This is the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. And there have been very few men his age that has performed like he's performed.
Yep.
You got to go back to Magic. I'm not saying he's going to be Magic, but you got to go back to what Magic was doing at the same age.
I agree.
And this kid was special. Jason Tatum. Yeah, Jason Tatum got it started. He kicked it off with 16 in the third, and I thought, I was like, wow. And then he got another 12 in the fourth, and Skip, I thought he was going to bring them all the way back.
28 in the second half.
I thought he was going to bring them all the way back. But Skip, if he
Remember, once he hit his first shot, it felt like the sky had fallen on Miami.
It felt like the basket, somebody took the lid off the basket for him.
Right, finally.
But Skip, at the end of the day, Kemba's got to play better. We've excused Kemba Because they say, well, look who's he playing with in Charlotte. He ain't got nobody in Charlotte, Skip. Okay, so he get them to the playoffs and they lose in the first round. That's okay. Kimber. You got Jason Tatum. You got Marcus Smart. You got Jaylen Brown and yourself. There's no reason for you guys to be in this position. Miami's good, but you're equally as talented. They're just outplaying you, bro. They need more from you. Smart didn't shoot the ball well last night, but he did dole out, 11 assists?
Yep.
I'm going to give the Heat credit. The Heat won this ball game because down the stretch, Skip, they made every single play they needed to make to win.
First, to your point about Kemba. How tall do you think Kemba Walker is?
I give him 5'11".
5'11", maybe. He is what he is and what he's not. He's a very good player. I never thought he was a star. He couldn't lift that Charlotte franchise up because he can only do so much at about 5'11".
And we gave him the benefit of the doubt, saying, well, he doesn't sound like they're loaded with talent in Charlotte.
No. But look, he's not Kyrie.
No.
And I know Kyrie's self-destructed in Boston and just alienated the whole franchise. I got it. But when in a game like this, if it's Kyrie with the basketball in his hands, you know what's going to happen. They're going to win it. So he's doing the best he can with what he has to work with. He's just not that guy to do that. Jason Tatum can be, and it looked like he was.
Yep.
And I don't know how Boston can shoot it much better in the second half than they shot it last night.
Exactly.
Or in the fourth quarter than they shot it last night.
Right.
They were extraordinary. But to your point, if you turn it over 19 total times and the other team only 8 times,
you're going to lose.
You're giving up so many possessions.
Yes.
And this team, I keep telling you, something special is going on with the Heat.
Yeah.
They will take advantage of your flaws. And I didn't love them in the zone last night because in the second half, Boston picked that zone to pieces. I kept tweeting, no more zone, Spo. Get out of it. He said in his between quarters interview, maybe I'll get out of the zone, but he never did.
Right.
Okay?
Because, Skip, it's hard for him because he got Dragic, Duncan Robinson. Skip, they're not individual cover guys. So you got to try to cover up from. It's not like Dragic is 6'6".
Yep.
And Duncan Robinson is a liability on the defensive end. So you got to try to protect him as much as you possibly can. So that's why that's why they mainly stay zone.
It worked only because of that kid.
It did.
I keep saying this to you. I've been saying it for 2 weeks on the show now. It's been a long, long time since I saw a rookie play at this level of the playoffs with this kind of fearless poise and control. He's completely in control of himself and the situation. He doesn't play out of control. He doesn't play too fast.
Right.
He lets the game sort of come to him, and then he just annihilates the game. He waits. Last night, do you know how many times they got to the end of the clock and they're like, we got nothing here. I got it. Yeah. I'll create something.
He was unbelievable.
Do you know how many end-of-clock shots he hit? Do you know what they used to call Michael Jordan when I covered him in The Last Dance year in 1998? The ultimate bailout guy.
Yes.
That's what he was referred to. Because he would bail you at the clock.
Right.
When in doubt, just give it to 23 and let him just operate and either get to the free throw line or make some shot where you say, how do you do that?
But Skip, that's the Heat. Look at Dragic. How many times did Dragic bail him out with a 3 or a layup at Gordon Hayward got him dead to right. 2 seconds on the clock. He whips around.
He made 2 or 3 big
Yes.
shots.
That's what they do. You're like, oh, we got him. It's 20, 21, 22. Ah, man. That is so frustrating.
Okay, so to your point, and I'm glad you made this point, in my memory bank, I got to go all the way back to Magic Johnson's rookie year when he stood in for Kareem.
Game 6.
In Game 6 at Philly and went, what was it?
42, 15, and 7.
15 and 7. Wow, 42, 15, and 7. Now, that's even beyond what Hero did.
He played all 5 positions.
And they won the championship. And my point is, I didn't see this from Bird or Jordan in their rookie years because they didn't get that far in the playoffs.
Right.
Bird lost to the Sixers in 5.
Right.
And he was good. He averaged 14 rebounds in that. I think it was 22 and 14. But, Jordan was very good, but he got swept by the Bucs in his first go-around. And it was like, okay. This is the Eastern Conference Finals swing game. This is it's going to be 2-2 or 3-1. This is make or break.
Yes.
And every shot he shot seemed to save them. And and fend off another rally from the Celtics, who in the second half just looked like, we got it, we got it. No, you don't, no, you don't, no, you don't. And oftentimes it was Tyler Hero going solo, where he'd just say, okay, I'll figure out.
Skip, he laying the ball up, Skip. He pulling up from time with timeline threes.
Ooh.
I mean, clutch jumpers. He's losing.
About,
we showed it, Skip. He's losing the ball. He turn around.
I'm talking about swagger and confidence.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a kid who has always been this, back to high school outside of Milwaukee, in college at Kentucky. His favorite thing is, I'm a bucket. He said it again last night. I'm a bucket. Well, it's just his calling card. I'm a bucket, meaning he believes he can go get you one.
Yes.
He'll go get you one at any time.
Yes.
You need a bucket, I got a bucket.
Yes.
Okay, so here's what I asked Coach Cal, who I know, and I love Coach Cal, but where was that guy last year at Kentucky? He averaged 14, 5, and 3. Well, I never saw this, and I watched a lot of Kentucky, and they lost in the Elite Eight to Auburn. It was 77-71, and Tyler Hero wasn't very good in that game. He shot 3 of 11, scored 7 points, 1 of 5 from 3. I couldn't see that guy.
No.
Where did he come from? Well, guess what? A whole bunch of teams in the first round of the draft did not see that guy, because I'll still give you Zion and Ja, obviously, going 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Well, then it starts. Help me out. These teams, people who run these teams, they're watching this game last night and they're going, uh-oh.
Right.
Because it starts with the Cavs, then it goes to the T-Wolves, Bulls, Pelicans, Wizards, Hawks again, 2 Hawks. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I started to. I left out the Knicks and the Hawks at the top.
Yeah.
Knicks, Hawks, Cavs, T-Wolves, Bulls, Pels, Wizards, Hawks again, Suns, and then Hornets. All those teams took other players. The Hornets actually took P.J. Washington, his Kentucky teammate, who was pretty good this year. He averaged 12 and 5. He was pretty good.
Right.
But then at 13, Pat Riley said, I see something.
You know what, Skip? And sometimes you have to understand, but look how they're using him. All those other guys that probably went before him, they're probably starting. I think the thing was Spo bringing him along, and he gets an opportunity to feel the game out. And there's not a whole lot of expectations because you have Jimmy Buckets and you have Bam.
Yep.
So you look and say he can come in like check. He already knows the temperature of the game. So he comes in. Okay, this is what's needed of me.
Yep.
And he's been. Skip, I didn't see it either, but sometimes it's hard to see when you play along 7 other 5-star recruits.
I agree.
Because I did not see this from Anthony Davis. Anybody that told you Anthony Davis was going to do this, they lied.
Yep. And I'll go to the highest level. I didn't see it from Jordan.
No.
I just didn't see it.
Skip, when you got Sam Perkins, you got Kenny Smith, and you got James Worthy.
And you got Dean Smith.
Yes.
The great Dean Smith saying, we will do it this way. We will share the basketball.
Exactly.
We're not having any solo acts out here. So we're starting to see it already from, so Tyler Hero in the regular season this year averaged 14 and 4, 2 assists. But in the postseason, he's starting to creep up because he's had games he had 20 against the Pacers. He had 23 against the Celtics in game 3. It's starting to happen where you see explosion from him. They're starting to believe in him, lean on him. And now Heat Nation is going with their, have you followed the Baby Goat thing? Okay, so they call him Baby Goat, except that was his nickname or the team nickname for the 3 rookies this year, right? And it was, Kendrick Nunn and Chris Silva was undrafted, but they were the Baby Goats, and they have a little thing they do with their little finger when they make a shot. Well, now he's become the Baby Goat, and I'm not going to go quite that far yet, but Heat Nation is on fire with a guy who's playing like he's a baby goat.
Yes, and he's their own, Skip. I mean, he drafted like D-Wade. D-Wade they drafted D-Wade. Yeah. So they're going to take a special kind of liking to him and to Bam because they're born and bred. That's their guy. They drafted him. And Skip, so if I'm not mistaken, I forget who it was. They were trying to trade. Pat Riley wanted to make a trade, but they wanted him. And they wanted, he's like, no, you can't have him. Forget that trade.
That is correct.
No, you ain't getting him.
Think about this. Last night, Tyler Hero hit 5 out of 10 threes, and they were all crucial.
Yes.
The rest of the team hit 5 of 27, which is 19%. So help me out. Without him, you're done.
Skip, if he scores 30, they lose.
Yeah.
If he scores 25, they get blown out.
Yeah.
They needed every single one of that 37.
Yep.
He was spectacular.
And even when Dragic hit that wide open corner three that put them up 7, and I thought that's 56-7.
Right.
I thought, okay, that's it.
Right.
And then they even got up 9, and it still wasn't enough because the Celtics
because Jason Tatum come back and hit a 3 right back.
And Jaylen Brown hit one from the corner.
Yes.
I'm like, wait a second. And it took Jimmy Buckets going to the free throw line twice.
Right.
And he made 3 out of 4 to barely keep them afloat.
But you can't turn the ball over 7 times in the fourth quarter. Smart had 3, and Jason Tatum had 2.
You know, he did a great interview on ESPN before the game, and they had him like mic'd up with his earbuds on, and he was doing it while he was warming up, talking to Rachel Nichols. I thought it was great, but he might rethink it like, uh-oh, maybe I lost some concentration, because he had a bad game to me. When you go 1 of 8 for 3, and that many, you have 3 fourth-quarter turnovers, that just...
He and Kimball was 4 of 16 from the three-point line.
Well, that's why. There you go.
Yeah.
Well,
my hero. Thank you.
Yeah, your hero. These young new stars emerged from the bubble. And, yeah, I think you should keep saying that. Your hero, Skip. He's been on fire. I want to talk about Dak Prescott a little bit, guys, because former Cowboys defensive coordinator Rob Ryan had high praise after Dak Prescott put up 450 passing yards and 4 total touchdowns in the comeback win over the Falcons on Sunday. Ryan said that Dak, quote, looked like Michael Jordan did in late games. He did late in games. He was intense, ready for the moment. Dak has another challenge ahead of him this week on the road against new MVP favorite Russell Wilson and the Seahawks. So, Shannon, are you buying the Dak MJ comparison?
Rob, you know you my guy. But you got your mind. Skip, Jordan, we never gave Jordan credit for regular season heroics. Jordan became Jordan because of his postseason heroics. The shot at Craig Elo, Skip, that was it. That launched him. I understand that
you could also go back to the NCAA Finals, which is the biggest college basketball game of the year.
That's how Jordan became Jordan. Not that for regular season heroics. And Dak was phenomenal. But if you want to say my homeboy, what he did in the playoffs last year, Skip, that was Jordan-esque. Down 24, and then you scored touchdowns on 7 straight possessions. Or what he did against Tennessee, down 10, and you get 340 total yards and 345 total yards, 4 total touchdowns, pass and rush. And with that great, Skip, you remember that run, that TD run, how he took off? I thought he was Kyler Murray for a second. I was like, man, is that Kyler Murray? Nah, that's my homeboy. I did, Skip, because you saw the head fake. He head faked him, went on down the sideline like 30 yards, and then the fourth quarter come back. Let that sink in, Skip. The man, his worst game of his playoff career. Patrick Mahomes' worst playoff game of his career, he wins Super Bowl MVP with 297 total yards and 3 touchdowns. That's Jordan-esque, not a regular season win, Skip. I know. He loves Dak. We've had him on the show, Skip, probably 50 times, and he loves Dak. He believes in Dak.
He does.
He was a D coordinator at Washington when they were going up against Dak. So he knows firsthand, having taken him off on film, what Dak represents.
Even last year he was.
Yes.
And remember the last game, it didn't matter because they were about to finish 8-8.
Yeah.
But Dak just went off on them.
Yes. So for me, Skip, no. Nobody's ever compared Dak Prescott to Michael Jordan. And I didn't think for 1 second, I was like, man, that's very Michael Jordan-esque what Dak is doing. No. So I'm going to disagree with you, Rob. I know you mean well, but not on this one, bro.
Okay. I also love Rob Ryan. He is so great at what he does, both on and off the field, because he's great with us on the show. He has a great football mind, thanks in part to his late, great father, Buddy Ryan, and obviously his twin brothers, Rex. And if I just take this quote in a vacuum, I get it. But I got to take it just in a vacuum. If you just took the raw tape, if we took the cut-ups of Sunday's game, Dallas versus Atlanta, and I only cut up Dak's throws, okay? And I just showed you his throws in a row, and you didn't know the outcome of the game. You didn't know the circumstance. You would sit back and say, whew, that's a clinic, man. He didn't miss a throw all day. Everything's right on the button, and he threw 0 interceptions. He did have the one fumble of his own. Zeke had one, Dalton Schultz had one, but still, if you just do the throwing, it was big time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you just watch that, you'd say, as Rob did, he looked like Michael Jordan did late in games. He was intense, ready for the moment. Well, he was. but they were hopelessly behind.
Right.
And you always say it, okay, that's his makeup.
Right.
That's who he is.
Yes.
But we've seen that.
Yes.
What happened his rookie year in the first playoff game he ever played, at the end of his rookie year against Green Bay at home, they had the bye. Remember, they had a bye.
They're the number one seed.
They were the number one seed in the whole NFC.
Mm-hmm.
And here comes Green Bay and Aaron Rodgers. And before you can look up, it is 21-3 Aaron Rodgers.
Correct.
And here came Dak Prescott. And what did he do? He threw them all the way back into a 28-all tie and a 31-all tie until Mason, you know.
Now, right, you got to tell them about the throw.
Yeah.
That was Jordan-esque, that throw.
Mason crossbar. 2 intergalactic field goals that were lucky. Both
And they both of them look like the one Greg Zuerlein kicked the other day.
Just killed me. I lost a piece of my soul over that game. Okay, so I'm with when Rob says, just look at his demeanor, and even Mike McCarthy was raving about him yesterday. Patience, discipline, resilience. Yeah, he's the top of the list in all those.
And you're thinking Jordan, huh?
I don't disagree. I don't think it's an overstatement to say he had that Jordan-esque look in his eye at the end of the game.
Skip, until the Falcons gagged the onside.
I got it. They should have lost the game.
Yeah, thank you.
It was the all-time theft. It should not have happened. And that's my problem, because if we pull it into context,
right.
You say they should be 0-2.
Right.
And when Rob says this guy's been putting up these great numbers all along, but people don't give him the respect he deserves. Yes, they do. But I was on his bandwagon from opening day. I've sat over here for 4 years counting the table for Dak Prescott. And now he's going Michael Jordan at the wrong time because they should be 0-2.
Right.
And then I haven't gotten over my disappointment of last year, and I'm going to run through it one more time for Rob Ryan's sake. I don't know how closely he was watching what was happening.
Right.
But they went to New Orleans, and the offense scored 10 points, and they lost to Teddy Bridgewater 12-10, and you were all over him, and you should have been.
Yes.
And then against Green Bay at home, speaking of Aaron Rodgers, they fall behind 31-3, and in the second half, he throws for 329.
Right.
But he threw one pick, and it was pass interference, but whatever. It was one pick that cost them, and they didn't get to the Atlanta point.
Right.
You know, they didn't pull it off. And then at the Jets, they fall behind 21-3, and he rallies them, but it wasn't enough, and they lost 24-22. And then 13-9 at New England. It's just not, it's not good enough. And then Buffalo, it's Thanksgiving Day, and you fall behind 26-7 at home on the Thanksgiving stage.
Yes.
And then that's with 8 minutes to go. And then you kind of get back, you rally a little bit, but it was a debacle at Chicago. They fall behind 24-7 entering the fourth quarter. Then Dak went off and threw for 180 yards in the fourth.
Right.
Didn't matter, right? And then finally at Philly, 17-9.
Right.
So you only scored 9 points, and you missed Tavon with the late throw that could have won it.
If you're following the Cowboys, if you're studying the Cowboys and watch them like we do, Skip, we're thinking that this is going to be another one of those performances where Dak throws for a whole bunch of yards, but it's empty calories until the Falcons gagged it. Michael Jordan never had a situation in the playoffs where the team gagged it. Somebody got a traveling call or somebody threw the ball out of bounds and gave him an opportunity to hit a game-winning shot.
Okay, I agree. They should not have won the game. What were their percentage chance? Probably like less than 1%.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, all right, we get that. But they won.
Yes.
And he was sensational. Maybe his best all-around passing performance, you could argue, of his whole career, 450 yards total. And now you better take it up even one more level, because you got to go to Seattle, and that quarterback has now vaulted to the top of the MVP odds. And he has Russell Wilson has the highest completion percentage after his first 2 starts with a minimum of 50 attempts in the history of this league at 82%.
Oh, right.
And he has the lowest off-target throws, 6.7% by far of anybody in the league. It's only a 2-game sample, but he is off to a crazy hot start, right? Okay, so help me out. How is my team going to stay in this game? Well, there's really only one way. You better be Jordan-esque, right?
With that, and plus, you better, I tell you what, you better not fall behind 20-0. You better not fall behind 29-10, because you're not coming back on that guy.
Nope, you're not.
So, and Skip, I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking, okay, they're not going to give up anything cheap, nothing deep. And I'm saying, okay, well, Dak's going to have one of those games where he throws for 300 yards in the second half, and they lose. And we come in here and we're like, Skip, yeah, he threw for a whole bunch of yards, but what did it matter?
Yep.
He was always but 2 scores down. But Atlanta gags the onside kick, and now we get people talking about he's Jordan-esque.
Yep. No, I got it. He is at his greatest when it's most hopeless.
Yes.
Like when you just think the game's over, you better watch this guy.
Yeah.
He is the ultimate warrior in desperation. But to me, at Seattle, he better be great out of the gate, or you're going to get wiped out. Because did you see they lost to Wouzier?
Yes.
He's gone for maybe whatever it is.
And they were struggling. They were struggling covering the passer anyway.
Yeah, and they lost to Anthony Brown, their slot corner.
Right. And then they put Tyron Smith is on IR.
Okay. So here we go. The quarterback.
But you don't got the 12th man, so you should be okay as far as penalties, fault procedure penalty.
He is capable.
Yeah.
He is highly capable.
Yeah.
And obviously 21's going to have to contribute also.
Yeah.
And
But that's what B. Wags is there for. Him and K.J. Wright supposed to shut that Zeke down. They're supposed to let that happen.
so I think we have a pending bet on this because I believe you gave me the 6.
No.
Yes.
No, it was not. It's not even 6 points. It's 4 points.
You gave me 6?
No, it's 4 points, Skip, baby. You think you're slick.
I thought
no,
you gave me
don't,
6.
no,
You
I
said,
don't
I'll
want you
just
doing
give you 6.
I don't want you thinking no more. No.
Are we
Straight up.
Are we amending?
It wasn't no amendment. Skip, the line was 4. Why am I going to give you 2 more
I
than the
thought you just blurted out, I'll give you 6.
Oh, I mean, so now I'm Vegas, huh?
I don't know. You think you are.
What does Fox bet? What does Fox bet got the line at?
I don't know. I didn't even look because I thought you gave me
5.5.
6. Huh?
Fox bet got it at 5.5.
5.5?
Yep.
You said you give me 6.
I give you 4.
What are you talking about?
4.
We already had it. Huh?
Where the documentation?
Well, listen, I got tape. I'll go look it up.
No mercy. Athletes and coaches across all sports reacted to the news of a grand jury in Louisville indicting just one police officer for endangering the neighbors in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor. But there was no decision to prosecute officers for their involvement in the killing of Taylor in her home. So, Shannon, what was your reaction here to the lack of charges?
Disappointed, very disappointed, but I'm not surprised. Skip, this incident happened on March 13th.
Yep.
And it take you 6 months to convene a grand jury and try to come up to see what happened and do a proper investigation. The only reason this came to be is because of what happened with George Floyd and the outcry, because prior to that they had done nothing.
That's true.
And this happened 2 months before George Floyd tragic was murdered. So they were not going to do anything until the rumblings. That's where Say Her Name came from, Skip. Breonna Taylor, because she was forgotten. And now all of a sudden you want us to believe. So this is what I don't get, Skip. One officer was charged with wanton endangerment, which means he fired into a dwelling without seeing what was in there. So you can fire, so you charge for firing into a building, but not firing into a woman's body and taking her life.
5 shots.
Let that sink in for just a second. Yep. Skip, what about the young man that was in the house? I think his name is Kenneth Jefferson. Kentucky is an open carry state. He has Second Amendment rights. He had a right to have the firearm.
And he has
a permit.
Yes.
Skip, at midnight, door flies off the hinges. I ain't asking no question. Who that?
Yep.
Stop this. Now, the police said they identified themselves, although they showed up in plain clothes. They identified themselves.
And the warrant was amended to you must announce. Knock and announce.
Right.
And there's some discrepancy whether they yelled police or not.
That's what they said. What would, Skip, after you go in someone's house, you kill a person, and what you're looking for, the person you're looking for, what you're looking for are not there. I got to admit it to say, we identified ourselves, he fired on us, we fired back, it was self-defense. Where is his self-defense in his home? He said it didn't happen. They found one person of all the people that they identified that said, yeah, I heard him say that. But no one else heard it, and he's right there. He said, I didn't hear anything. I just thought...
I can't believe he heard anything except somebody banging the door down.
And then all of a sudden...
What would you do?
And then all of a sudden, the door comes open. Well, you already know what Shay gonna do. You already know, because I keep that thing ready.
I got it.
Yes.
I got it.
Laser, ready. So don't come in my house with that bull jive.
And he hit the...
He hit somebody in the leg. Yeah. Okay. I'm surprised he only fired one time.
Me too. I'm also surprised he survived.
Yes. So he don't get hit.
Because they got hit with a hail or a hell of bullets, like just 20 rounds?
Yeah, she got hit 6 times.
Yeah.
He didn't get hit at all. So his Second Amendment right.
Flying through walls and
exactly. So I don't have a right to protect myself in my home, but you're saying that's self-defense. Well, hell, I didn't hear you Skip, in the dead of sleep. Man, you know when you sleep, Skip, you ain't here. Man, this is so.
Wasn't it around midnight?
Yes. Okay. Skip, I'm no one surprised by this. And for the Attorney General to get up there with all that bull jive, and they just, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they just convened the grand jury on Monday. And that's why they started boarding up. They already knew. That's why they started boarding up everything. That's why they said you couldn't tell the police officer they couldn't take vacation time, because they already know they came back with some bull jive. They already knew the grand jury didn't come back with a true bill. So I'm not surprised, and they wonder why. What is it going to take, Skip? We saw after Tina Jefferson get shot in her home with her nephew playing video games. They shot through the window. Nothing happened. We see in Dallas, Texas, a police officer goes inside Botham John and kills him while he's eating ice cream. We see this all the time. So when is it going to be enough? I need all these corporations and these powerful people that said Black Lives Matter. Really? Do they? Because it seems to be what I'm starting to see, Skip, and it says, and the Attorney General, this was a tragic accident. Well, the accident seemingly only be happening to black people, and it's only happening at the hands of white officers. Why is that? This is an outrage, and they know this isn't right. They know this is wrong, and still they don't care.
What did the city of Louisville do with the
$12 million?
$12 million they gave the families, so they're admitting wrongdoing.
Right.
Something went really wrong.
$12 million of the taxpayers of the Commonwealth of Kentucky's money. We need that money to come out of the police union. We need it to come out of their pensions. And then we'll stop some of this, because Skip, it don't hurt them. Because guess what? Those two other officers are still on the force.
They are. As Eric Spoelstra said yesterday about the payoff, he said it looks like such a ridiculously empty payoff.
Yes.
With no justice attached.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously, I can't empathize with what you're saying because I can't walk in your shoes and I will never be able to feel what you feel, but I can sympathize from across the table. And what I feel from you and others in your community is just this deep tiredness, like you're just so worn out from all of it because it just keeps on keeping on. And this would just, here you go again. And I hurt for that because I am so with you. But until we have some kind of reform of the system that's in place, this is going to keep happening.
Correct.
I loved what Jaylen Brown said yesterday. Until we dismantle and recreate the system in place, it's just we're going to keep having, as he said, victims like Breonna Taylor. Well, you
absolutely
got
right.
it.
Yep.
Okay, so I would like to believe there are more good cops than bad cops in this world, in our country. I'd like to believe that. I don't know that for a fact. I just kind of hang on to that notion because it's the only thing that kind of keeps me afloat here psychologically.
Right.
But do I believe there's still a lot of racist cops who sort of got grandfathered into their jobs?
Yeah.
Pre-Black Lives Matter movement? You better believe there are. And they're still out there. And I don't know how to fix that right now. There has to be new checks and balances where you are reevaluated.
Right.
That's why there was that bill that got all the way to the floor of the California Senate. Then it fizzled out.
The police union.
Yeah, okay. It's hard to fight the union.
Yes.
All I can tell everybody is you got to vote, man. You got to vote, and you need to try to educate yourself at your local level with your judges and vote.
And with the sheriff's department.
Yes, vote. And obviously vote at the highest level. And maybe things will start to turn because there has been some racial awakening. Even the racists, I believe, have been bombarded with some racial awakening where I'd like to think that even the racist cops have some new, dare I say, like sensitivity where at least the seeds are planted in their mind.
Because you know why, Skip? Because they still have qualified immunity. They still have the protection of they still have the protection of the unions. So even if I do this on tape, Skip, it should be, you know what? If you have body cameras and your body camera is not turned on, it should be automatic firing. Because what are you hiding? The camera is to protect you and to protect me. So ain't no hearsay, ain't no, well, this is what happened and I think this is what happened. No, the camera does not know who's right, who's wrong. All it does is record. Now, all of a sudden, you go there and somebody's camera is malfunctioning or somebody's camera's not on. It's convenient that somehow the camera's not working that night.
Were there not cameras in the...
They said it malfunctioned or they didn't have them on.
They did?
Yeah.
I did not know.
So I'm just trying to figure out, why you show up in plain clothes? I mean, somebody knocking on my door, you better show me a badge. Are you plain clothes? I'm thinking you somebody coming to do something to me. Absolutely. So I got to do something to you first.
Absolutely.
I just, Skip, this is just so, it's so ridiculous. It's so frustrating. And they tell us things that they would have never, if you would have told a police officer, well, I did this because of that, they would never believe you. But they tell you the exact same thing and they expect us to believe it. Yep. And we do. I mean, they charged this officer for firing into a building because a man and his pregnant wife or girlfriend was in that building. Mm-hmm. So they charged him for that. But a woman dead, and don't nobody get charged. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So what about her? Can she get wanton endangerment? Because a bullet entered her body, not a wall. I guess buildings matter.
Not just a bullet, a bunch of bullets.
I guess buildings matter, Skip. Really? This is so, man, this is so sad. This is so utterly ridiculous. And they talk about, well, I don't know, I don't get it, Shannon. I don't get it why, I mean, you're making millions of dollars. My $1 million ain't got nothing to do with this woman losing her life. And so many others like this. And I just want to know, and for some, Skip, it doesn't seem to matter. I mean, they see what's going on, and they're just like, hey, long as we got this power grab, long as we make it our billions and hundreds of millions, we cool. But it's not right. At some point in time, there has to come some accountability from the other side.
Yep.
That says, you know what, that ain't right. Mm-hmm. Because I know what they would do. Because Skip, I know you well remember. In the 80s, they had an epidemic called crack. And what they did, you got more time for dealing crack than you did for doing the same amount of cocaine. Because one was looked at as a minority, black, poor drug. The other was looked at as a wealthy, white drug. And then you had the mandatory minimums. If you got caught with crack, you had to do a mandatory sentence. Yep. And then they had the 3 strikes rule. 3 strikes, you got life, no questions asked.
Yep.
And then they had something that hit the Rust Belt and the Bible Belts about 7, 8, maybe a decade ago. This OxyContin, this pill epidemic. And now all of a sudden, Skip, you know, prison, that's not the right thing to do. They need counseling, they need rehabilitation, they need talking to. Because who did that hit? One struck the black community, the other struck the white community. Now, when it wasn't no mandatory minimum, it wasn't no 3 strikes, it wasn't no harsher jail terms. Man, stop playing with people. Y'all act like people don't understand what's going on. We see. I've always seen what was going on. And it's not right. And at some point in time, I get it, Skip. You're in power. You want to stay in power. But at what point in time you say, you know what? This is about the people.
Yep.
And even if forget the party, forget partisanship, it's about the people.
It is.
And you see what's going on.
I agree.
This ain't right.
Yep. So given the system in place in Louisville, Kentucky, are you surprised?
No. Skip, did I actually think, am I going to be surprised in Minnesota if Chauvin gets off? Absolutely not.
Well, I would.
I would not be surprised, Skip.
That was murder in broad day.
Of course.
And it wasn't a body cam, it was a citizen cam, right?
Skip, we watched for the very first time, they beat Rodney King with an inch of his life.
And we had it on video.
We had it on video. Video seems to be only applicable if Pookie goes into the liquor store and steals something or kills somebody. That seems to be the only time that video is applicable, because that's the only time it tells the whole story. Because even when we get video, Skip, we don't know what led up to this. We don't know what precipitated this. So we got to get all the facts. Pookie going to the store and robbing somebody, oh, we got everything we need right here. Guilty. Skip, all we want is fairness. We don't want anything more than that, just fairness.
Well, Jacob Blake wasn't body cam video. It was just citizen video from a distance, right? And
7 shots in the back.
But you could see lethal force was used to stop him from getting in his car.
Just saw a case, Skip, just saw a case the other day in Tulsa, Oklahoma. White dude.
Yep.
They pulled him over. He got suspended driver's license. They talking to him. He say, I want to get out. Well, guess what he did, Skip? He wrestled with both of them. He kills one, shoots the other, drives off. Guess what? How they brought him in, Skip? Alive and well. Shoots, kills in Tulsa. Now, Tulsa is the same place where they killed Terrence Crutcher. Remember how they felt for it? She felt for her life. She was in fear of her life. Nobody else felt for fear of their life. But
that was on video.
Yes!
Yep.
Kill 2 police officers, they bring him in alive.
I didn't see that.
Kyle Rittenhauser goes down to Kenosha.
That's a good one.
Skip, I don't know about you, Skip. You know, I love stories. But if that story is not Shannon Sharp, I ain't defending it.
Yep.
I get what Greg Jennings say, hey, some friends of mine, they went down there and they had their firearms, they were in my store. That's his store.
Downtown Minneapolis.
Downtown Minneapolis. That's his store. I get it. Skip, I love Target, but I'll be damned if I'm taking my gun down there to protect Target from somebody going up in there, or Walmart, or Whole Foods, or anybody else. If it ain't my dwelling, I don't give a deal about it.
Yep. Could I add one last footnote to this?
Sure.
I would just ask everyone out there, please don't shoot cops over this.
No, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. No, absolutely not.
Shot last night in Louisville.
Yeah, no, that's not the answer. Because then, Skip, you say, see, the violence. Because and Skip, look, and sometimes, a lot of times, there are peaceful protests. And that's what I like about Dr. King, is that they didn't have people that infiltrated it and did the wrong thing and then gave everybody a bad name. Yep. Because that's what you're getting. You get people that go out there to peacefully protest in Minneapolis or in these other cities, and then you get these bad actors that go in there and infiltrate, and then that make the peaceful protesters look bad. That's not their intention. And no, do not shoot police officers, because now that gives them a reason. See, oh, LeBron James condemned. No, LeBron James did not co-sign on nobody shooting no police officer.
He fired back on that yesterday.
Ain't nobody saying about shooting no police officers. No. But we don't want you shooting us either.
Thank you.
Just want to lift up Breonna Taylor's family today, because I keep thinking about them, and like, we're talking about this story and they're still living in this just heartache and disaster and pain, and it's not going to go away for them. And I keep them on my mind today. And boy, we still have a lot to do in terms of change.
No mercy.
Tonight on Thursday Night Football, Ryan Fitzpatrick and the Dolphins take on Gardner Minshew and the Jaguars exclusively on NFL Network. Ooh, Thursday already, guys, and we got football. I'm looking forward to it. And also tonight, you know, the Lakers back in action, and they actually don't believe LeBron is getting his fair share of free throws with only 10 attempts in their 3 games against the Nuggets. Frank Vogel told reporters, quote, "We're dealing with the fouls through the proper channels with the league. I think he's gone to the basket very aggressively, and I'll just leave it at that." Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joining us this morning. Chris, good morning. Lakers up 2-1. What do you expect? Game 4 tonight.
Well, my head tells me that the Lakers win tonight. And even though I picked the Lakers to win this series, I want the Lakers to win this series. My heart would like to see Denver even it up at 2-2, because I told you guys yesterday, I want intrigue, I want drama, I want suspense, I want spice. But that said, I think this is how the series plays out. The Lakers, I picked them in 6. I think they win the night. I think Denver wins game 5 to pull within 3-2 and get everybody thinking, oh, wow, here we go again. And then the Lakers close them out in 6. The thing I'm most looking forward to seeing tonight is, what does LeBron James do? I still believe that LeBron is the best player in the world, but he hasn't looked like that in the first 3 games. He hasn't really been able to put his imprint on this series like he has in virtually every playoff series he's ever played in, even when he's lost. Now, we had an interesting discussion this morning on First Things First, where it came up that, is LeBron as focused as usual? Remember, he usually goes into 0 dark 30 mode, no social media, nothing like that. Obviously, he's on social media now, and a lot of it with good reason, as we know what's going on in the country, but still, he's on social media unusually for the playoffs. And then after game 1, he began talking about the MVP award and how he felt like he was snubbed. Do those things show that you're not as focused on the Denver Nuggets as you need to be? I'm not saying he is or isn't. I don't know. But if he is focused, if he is still the best player in the world, I expect him to come out tonight and have a dominant performance, one of those typical LeBron James performances. And if he does that, I think the Lakers win tonight.
I'm thinking Celtics. I'm thinking Game 6. I'm thinking Game 6 Celtics. Is that what you thinking, Skip Bayless?
Oh.
I'm talking about that one when he had his hands on his hips and he's looking at eyes going side to side. He's shifting his eyes side to side. Yeah, I'm thinking one of those. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that right there. And I'm thinking Anthony Davis. I'm thinking what you saw the other night, Game 2. That's what I'm thinking about AD. You're going to see a focused team. They understand that what the Nuggets represent. You don't do what they've done. No team in history has come back from 3-1 deficits twice in the same playoffs. They've done that against a team that many thought. I mean, I think 50+ % of the votes that the Clippers were going to win the title. The Clippers was going to be the representative from the Western Conference. And they were down 3-1 against that team and walked them. Same thing against Utah. So the Lakers understand. Although they're like, we feel we're better, we know what they're capable of because once the guy gets confidence, the team gets confidence, the sky's the limit. So this thing is smoldering right now. We're going to put this thing out before it gets too big, before this blaze become all-encompassing, Skip. We're going to suppress this right now. We got the target to do this. So that's what LeBron and AD is going to do tonight. You watch the intensity they come out with tonight, like they did in Game 2 against the Rockets, like they did Game 2 against the Trailblazers. I like where I'm at right now. We will have this conversation. I want you to have that energy. You remember that energy that you had on Wednesday, yesterday?
I have that energy every day.
No. Yep. I want that same energy. I want that same energy. I will be out here with 2 goat masks, one for big goat and one for baby goat.
My turn. My first point of order said with high energy, the Clippers would have beaten the Lakers. They would be ahead 2-1 tonight and maybe go up 3-1. Point number 2 said with energy, Kevin Durant is still the best player in the world.
Stop.
He's just out of sight, out of mind.
Stop it.
Now, to tonight. For once, I agree with my man, Shannon Sharp. I agree with Chris Broussard. This should be and will be LeBron's night. He will impose his will on this game as he is fully capable of doing. It is time for LeBron's imprint to be all over this series in this game. He does not want 2-all. He wants 3-1. Now, again, the Nuggets might argue when it's over, if it is the way I think it's going to be, they could say, we got the Lakers right where we want them at down 3-1. But tonight will be LeBron's night. They have sent their message to the league office. I think some makeup calls are ready to happen tonight where if LeBron will assert himself and do what he does greatest, he is a great passer, obviously, but if he will freight train to the basket, he is the greatest attacker of the basket I have ever seen. Still, at the end of his 17th year, he is 6 feet 9 inches tall by 250 pounds, and he still has his quickness, and he has his lift. And if he will attack from the opening dribble, I believe the refs will pay him the respect that they want. He'll get to the line 12, 14, 15 times. He'll make 65, 70% of those free throws.
80.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe this will be his night where he'll make 80%. I hope for your sake.
So are you telling me we're going to get the Jeremy Grant treatment from Game 2? Is that what we're going to get, Chris?
Yeah, you're going to be Jeremy Grant tonight. And I think Jeremy Grant will be underfoot for LeBron James because he is a really good defender. He really bothered Kawhi Leonard in the previous series. But I think LeBron can just steamroll him. And LeBron basically got called out by Jamal Murray in Game 3 because Jamal jacked him in the jaw. And you can't tell me it wasn't intentional and it was a message sent. I'm here, and I'm not going away. Okay. And you cannot bully me. You can't overpower me. You can't steamroll me. And I'm going to make a deep 3 on you at the end of the game, and I'm going to shimmy all the way up the floor. The message got sent. He got called out. Old man, you can't do it anymore. So let's see. And I'm going, as Chris said, I'm going head over heart here. I'm going LeBron all day, as in AD. But I think it'll be LeBron's game more than it will be Anthony Davis.
That's one thing I like about Ghost. Being on the farm, Chris, Ghosts have great memories. He won't forget it.
Really?
He won't forget it. Your day coming.
I don't think goats have great
They do have great memories. You don't understand about a goat. I do. I know about goats.
I don't know about memories of goats, but whatever.
I was laughing earlier when you talked about LeBron in Boston, that 45, 15, and 7, whatever it was, that game. There's that somewhat iconic photo of him from that game where they say he just had the game face on and his eyes were focused. I once asked LeBron about that very picture, and he was like, man, I don't know. They just caught me at the right time. I don't know what that was. You know what I mean? He was like, I was just balling, but they caught me at the right time. But I don't expect 45. I don't think LeBron has that type of game in him at 35 years old.
What?
But I do think he'll have a great game. Yeah, 45, 15, 7. I don't see that.
He might not need the 15.
But I do see 30-something. You see 45?
I already got Skip. Me and Skip got a case of do bet. I got 70 points between AD and LeBron.
Shannon, too many.
Okay.
They won't be able to hold up
man.
both ends of the bargain.
They're going to hold up.
Yeah. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Points.
No, that's what I know. I know. That's why I said it.
65 max. 65 max. That'll be enough, though. I think they get it.
You going to see. Skip, you about to see a LeBron James. Skip. Now, you know this man. As Chris just said, he hadn't had a virtuoso. So I'm due one of those performances.
You are. You're due. This is it. Pressure's on. It's his night. Rise, shine, dominate.
Motown Music, 1983, Michael Jackson moonwalk for the first time. We all saw it. We remember where we were.
All right. Well, Chris said
Shannon,
he
you
wants
know
some
Skip
spice.
is saying it for a different reason.
No.
I know.
Skip's saying it because if he doesn't do it, it's on tomorrow. You know that.
No, he's just still upset because they beat the Clippers. He can't get over that. That's why every time we talk about the Lakers and Nuggets, he always starts. The Clippers would be up 2-1 right now on the Lakers.
By the way, the Clippers would be up 2-1 right now on the Lakers.
I think you posted a picture, Skip, with a Clippers jersey still hanging in your dressing room. You got to put that away for now.
Till next year. We'll see you 2021.
You're not going to need it. You're not going to need it.
2021.
No mercy.
The Miami Heat are now 1 game away from making the finals for the first time since 2014. Rookie Tyler Hero put up 37 points off the bench for Miami and is only the second 20-year-old to score at least 37 points in a playoff game. Magic Johnson in the 1980 finals was the other. Chris Broussard is still with us. Chris, this question for you. Do you think Hero will make an all-star team one day?
Yes, I do. I'm very confident that he'll make an all-star team. Now, I'm not convinced yet that he'll be a perennial all-star where he makes 4, 5, 6, all-star teams and virtually every year. But 1 or 2 all-star teams in the East, yes, it helps that he's in the East. It helps that he's on a good team. And no disrespect to Chris Middleton, but remember, he's made 2 all-star teams in the Eastern Conference. Tyler Hero is only 2 years removed from high school. He's 20 years old. He played 1 year at Kentucky. So he's going to improve dramatically, you'd think. So, yeah, he'll make an all-star team. And look, what was so impressive last night was the way he did it. He did it in every way. He hit the three-pointer. He hit mid-range shots. He showed off his handle, beat guys off the dribble. Finished at the rim. He moved without the basketball, which a lot of guys don't do well, and he caught some passes cutting to the basket and scored that way. This guy is very, very good, and while you never expect a rookie to average, to score 37 points in an Eastern Conference Finals game, this wasn't completely out of the blue. He scored 22 in Game 3. He averaged 16.5 points in the first round against Indiana. He led the Heat with 17.3 points a game in the 8 seeding games in the bubble. So he seems to be finding himself and emerging. So look, again, very confident he'll make 1, 2 all-star games maybe. The question for me is, does he become a real legitimate star where every year you kind of pencil him in for the all-star game?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he can become an all-star, and as all the points you make are very convincing, Chris, is because you look at it, he's in the East. And when you look at the Eastern Conference guards, Skip, basically they're the Ks. Kyrie, Chris Middleton, Kemba Walker, Kyle Lowry. Those are the guards in the Eastern Conference. Now, can he be an All-NBA player? You still got Harden, Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, maybe Westbrook for a couple of more years.
Yep.
But the young guns, Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray, Ja Morant. I don't know about an All-NBA guard, Luka. I ain't even mentioned Luka. So I don't know about an All-NBA, but I think you're right, Chris. I think in the Eastern Conference, I think he can become an All-Star. Now, Kyrie's going to be on a winning team because he has Kevin Durant. I think that's one spot that's going to be locked up.
Yep.
So basically, he's going to be fighting with Chris Middleton, Kemba, and Kyle Lowry for the other all-star guard. But Skip, he like Chris said, he's 20 years of age, playing 33 minutes a night and doing this. He gets a little better. He's going to be averaging 20 points a night. It's going to be hard to overlook him because the Heat's going to win. And so when you factor that in, he's going to be averaging about 20 points a night. They'll be winning. It's going to be hard to keep, and he's going to become a fan favorite. Remember, the fans got to say in this, Skip. And he's not like, he got handle, he got swag. Hey, we haven't seen anything like him at the guard position. Luka is a different type of guy, but this kid got handles, he got swag. I'm a bucket. Y'all know what I do. I get buckets out here.
I'm a bucket.
So I think he can be an all-star.
I am shocked both of you went all-star. I was prepared to have to defend this kid, this 20-year-old, because I definitely see all-star. I'm with Chris. It's hard to yet go perennial all-star, but can he make an all? Yes, he can. So I need to address the, so to speak, white elephant in the room.
Yeah.
He's a white kid from outside Milwaukee.
Yeah.
And he's playing like he so belongs. I keep telling Shannon, it's been a long, long time since I saw a 20-year-old rookie play with this kind of fearless poise. The poise is what's so hard. As Chris points out, this is the Eastern Conference Finals. This was the swing game, 2-2 or 3-1. And he took it over. His team couldn't score. Jimmy Buckets was starting to irritate me because he wouldn't assert himself. Take the shot. And all of a sudden, they kept getting late clock. And Tyler Hero said, I got it. Just it's okay. And he did it at his own pace and his own rhythm. And he kept creating his own shot from deep, mid-range, going to the rim, both hands. He's got, as Chris said, he's got really sweet handles both ways. And he's got supreme confidence. He belongs. How many American-born and raised white two guards have we seen in this league? I don't know. It's been a while.
No.
Like who? Rex Chapman?
King Rex now.
Ooh.
Yeah. And his knee, King Rex.
Okay,
well, look,
but help me out. Go ahead, Chris.
To your point, we haven't seen a white star guard since John Stockton, white American.
No.
Right.
Steve Nash was even Canadian.
He was Canadian.
The two guard, Chris Mullin, is that the last one?
Right.
Jeff Hornacek was pretty good, but like a legitimate star was Chris Mullin.
Yeah. But Chris Mullin was
it'd be great if Hero could
like
really
a
emerge.
pure shooter.
Right.
But this kid's got...
Chris Mullin couldn't handle the ball like this kid. This kid between his legs, behind his back.
And Shannon, this kid is long.
Yeah.
He's 6'5" and long.
Yeah.
And dare I say he's athletic?
Yeah.
I mean, he's pretty
But you know
athletic.
what? And when I look at it, Chris, I don't know. It's going to be tough for him to get, because I left off Bradley Beal, Trae Young, and John Wall is coming back. So he got his work cut out for him on the All-Star with Kyrie, with Kemba, with Chris Middleton. Okay. So he might can skip. He might can squeeze one.
Yeah.
He might can squeeze one, because when Bradley Beal just averaged 30, Trae Young averaged 30. John Wall is coming back. It's going to be tough, Skip.
Okay, think of the opportunity this
Malcolm
right
Brogdon's
before.
pretty good.
Yeah, he is. I agree. But
The other thing, too, is that in Miami, at least for the next few years, I don't know if you'll be ready to be an all-star in next year or 2 years, 3 years. But for the next few years, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo are going to be all-stars.
Yeah.
So the Heat's not getting 3 all-stars.
No.
So unless he really just becomes their best player, it might be hard for him for a few years in addition
Chris,
to the other guys you mentioned,
To your point, he has been becoming their best player for a few weeks now. If you look back at the numbers you just showed, it's like, wait a second, this is happening, then 37 happens. And think of the opportunity he has. Can they close the deal 3-1? I think they can. If they do, are they going to face your team in the finals? Is that not a national opportunity to make a splash?
Be huge. And we remember how big he came up against Milwaukee down the stretch. He was raining threes on them. And I agree with you. The question is, Bam suffered some kind of injury to his elbow or something last night.
He said it was his wrist, but he said he's good.
Okay.
He said.
So.
But, I mean, if he's not good, you just got a huge break.
Right. Yeah. And then if he's not good, they're not going to be good because he controls the glass. He's giving you 20 and 10 on a nightly basis.
Yep.
So it's going to be huge for them. But this kid, he's been very impressive. Like I said, maybe I'm gonna say if he gets an All-Star, he'll get one because when you look at it, Bradley Beal, Trae Young, John Wall, Kyrie, Kemba, Chris Middleton, and Kyle Lowry. Now Kyle Lowry is a free agent, so we don't know if he's going to stay in Toronto or he's going to stay in the East. But I don't see all NBA, Skip.
Not all NBA.
With Harden, Lillard, Steph.
No.
And those Donovan Mitchell, Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray might be an all NBA player next year.
Might be. Okay, so the old movie title, White Men Can't Jump. There's one exception. This guy.
Yeah, he can elevate. He got handles. He got swag.
No mercy.
Baseball's postseason is coming, and FS1 will be your home for the National League Divisional Series. It all gets underway October 6th, the NLDS on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Tom Brady and the Bucs offense hasn't yet reached the elite levels that many expected this season. Tampa's quarterback coach, Clyde Christensen, said the offense will gradually get better over time. He also said the offense will click, and he predicts they will improve all year up until the playoffs. Former All-Pro quarterback Antonio Cromartie with us now. Antonio, it's been far too long. We are happy to have you join Undisputed this morning. And I do want to ask you first, Antonio, from what you've seen, how far can Brady and the Bucs go?
I honestly think they can make the playoffs. I mean, I think I'm looking at 10-6, 11-5 record for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, just with having Tom Brady at the Rams at the quarterback position. I think when you look at the whole entire situation, I think people are overreacting for the first two games of the season with Tom Brady. Of course, he didn't have a great first outing against the Saints, but I mean, he come back around and had 198 yards in the first half, and then only threw for 19 in the second half of the second game. But they was able to put up points, something that I didn't really see in the first game because of the turnovers and miscommunications that they had. But the guys haven't even practiced together much. They haven't had a full offseason together. So honestly, you want to say that these first 2 or 3 games are more likely like preseason games. But when you get into it, man, Tom Brady's going to be the same person. He still can make every single throw. He still can throw the ball down the field. And that's what I'm looking forward to as his team and himself get gradually comfortable with each other going into the season.
For me, Crow, I look at it like, no, the offense hasn't looked great, but I think a lot of that had to do with the expectations being so high. I think the thing is, if people would have tempered their expectations, they wouldn't have been disappointed by what they see going on. I also think they would be better served if they let Tom do more of what Tom did for the past 20 years. Tom is really not a guy that pushes the ball down the field. Bruce Arians' offense is an offense that pushes the ball down the field. Tom is really not one of those guys that says, okay, 50-50 ball, let me throw it up to Mike Evans or let me throw it to Chris Godwin. That's not what he does. If you look at what he's done in the first 2 games, he likes to target the slot receivers and the running backs. And that's where mainly his targets go. And so Bruce Arians is getting frustrated because Tom is not going to push the ball down the field and just say, okay, let's go throw a jump ball up to Mike Evans. That's really not what he does. I think if we had tempered expectations, well, I tempered expectations because I know they didn't have OTAs. They didn't have mini camp. There were going to be no preseason games. Training camp was going to be greatly condensed because of what's going on with the corona, with the COVID-19. So I'm not surprised that they're getting out to a slow start out of the gate. It's just when the expectations were so high, they were expecting Tom Brady to average 50 points a game, Skip, and you and I both know that wasn't going to happen. So I do think they will gradually improve, but I think if you're expecting to see the 2013 Broncos offense with Peyton Manning, I didn't think Tampa was ever going to be that.
But you got to think about this. This is one thing you got to think about, too. Tom Brady was a guy that took away his main thing in New England was slot running back because he created mismatches.
Right.
So when you're able to create the mismatches and capitalize on those, that's where he got his big plays from. It was everything for Tom Brady was run after catch. You know, so once those big plays was able to happen, then he was able to, okay, now I can throw the ball down the field when I had Randy Moss or when I had other guys, I can get the ball down the field because now everyone is cheating up because he's getting the ball to the mismatches and he's throwing the out routes, he's throwing the crossing routes, he's throwing the ball in the middle of the field because he had those weapons. You got to think, when he was throwing the ball down the field, throwing the ball down the field was actually down the middle of the field with Gronkowski and other tight ends. So it's just a point of just understanding where the ball is going. And Tom Brady understands where he wants to go with the ball. He's just not comfortable in the things that he's doing with Bruce Arians. They need, like you said, Shannon, he needs to go back. They need to let him go back and do what he does for the last 20 years and let him be successful at what he do.
Allow me to say this about Antonio Cromartie. He intercepted Tom Brady during Crow's career 4 times. So I'm not sure any other man intercepted Tom more than 4 times. So Crow did everything in his power to ungoat the GOAT, right? So he's got real insight into this. So, Antonio, what have you seen from 43-year-old Brady? Have you seen any decline at all in, I don't know, release or velocity or accuracy or any of those things?
I tell you this, the first game, he didn't look the same. Honestly, I think he was uncomfortable. The offensive line is not better than what he had in New England, to be honest with you. But I saw more of Tom Brady in the second game in that first half where he was able to get the velocity on the ball, get the ball out of his hands quick, and he was actually throwing timing routes. So when you can get him throwing off that back foot and not holding on to the ball and he can get it out on time, that's when Tom Brady's at his best. When you get him off his spot, he just becomes like any other quarterback, an average quarterback that cannot get the ball out of his hands quick enough because he has to hold on to it. He's not a guy that's going to extend the plays. So when he's not extending the plays, he has to try to get the ball out on timing routes.
So allow me to point out, at New Orleans, opening day, no preseason games, very little practice with a new group of receivers. He was graded with having 6 big-time throws in that game, which tied Aaron Rodgers for the most that Sunday or opening week 1 in the NFL. And the 6 throws, 4 of them created pass interferences downfield. But he was throwing deep balls. You can say he was lobbing deep balls, but he was throwing them to Mike Evans. There were 4 deep ones to Mike Evans. Chris Godwin got his share. Then Chris Godwin didn't play, obviously, in their home opener against Carolina. So, to me, maybe he's not throwing deep rockets, but he's throwing it up the field the way he throws it, which is on time. He's going to throw it before you get there and throw it up. And he hit Scotty Miller a couple times deep. So I don't know. I'm seeing them push the ball down the field more than you guys are giving him credit for.
But Skip, where's the ball thrown at? Like you said, he threw the ball to Scotty.
Yep.
He threw the ball down the seam to Scotty. That big throw for 25, 27 yards to Scotty that he caught right before halftime or something like that. You got to think the ball is being pushed down the middle of the field. Those are easier down the field throws that he can make, and he's going to create those mismatches. Scotty had a great mismatch on that play, so he's going to take that. You know, Tom Brady mindset and his offense was always built on, I'm going to take the mismatch no matter where it is. I'm going to take it, and I can get the run out the catch. Maybe I get 7 yards, maybe I get 25 yards, but we're moving the sticks. Then when I get the chance, I will take the shot down the field if they're going to give me a single high, and I know that my receiver can beat that DB.
Yeah, that's what, when I look at him, when watching him, I don't think he has the arm strength to consistently throw the out ball. If you notice it, look, Tom Brady is always, as you mentioned, he's always a guy that wants to get the ball out. He's more of a 3-step drop back, want to find the running back, want to find the slot receiver or somebody that's close. So if I'm a DB and I'm approaching Tom Brady, I'm playing everything quick. I'm not really concerned. Yeah, he'll try to throw the vert occasionally, but I know Tom Brady wants that ball to come out quick because as we get older, Crow, you know this, those licks hurt. Tom Brady will flinch in the pocket, so he wants to get the ball out of his hands. No, you take it. You take the hit. I don't want that hit. So I just think the thing is, if we temper the expectations, say, you know what, okay, Tom will figure this thing out. But if we're expecting to see 35 points a game, I don't believe that's what Tampa offense is capable of doing in this situation.
But not only that, take it back from week 1. the pick six by Jack Rabbit.
Jack Rabbit.
So you think about that. The out was thrown late. It was thrown behind. It wasn't thrown on time. That's not Tom Brady's game. Tom Brady's game is inside the numbers, not outside the numbers. So
right.
why are we only time he's want to throw outside of the numbers? If you're showing zero coverage and you give him zero, that slot always going to run what? An out route, because what they're protecting, the inside and protecting the inside leverage. So if I'm a guy that understands that, Tom Brady's not gonna make that throw. I'm gonna break on the ball every single time on the out route, and I'm gonna pick it off every single time. His game is in between the numbers. Right. I need between the numbers and it's in between the hash with everything. That's how he won his games with Edelman, with Wes Welker, and all those guys. I mean, it's just a point of just understanding his offense. Let him do what he do best, and let him take his shots when he needs to.
So I got a quick question. Did anybody but me see the ball that he threw in the fourth quarter to LaShawn McCoy, where he broke the pocket to the right? He was actually doing something called running to his right, and he threw a laser, a rocket, to LaShawn, and hit him right in the hands in the back in the end zone, and he dropped it.
How many times have you ever seen Tom Brady do that in the course of his career?
Okay, but he did it at age 43.
Yes.
I said, who was that guy? Well, you got to give him some credit.
Yes.
Was he running or was he scooting?
I don't know.
But the thing is, but you talk about the out route. But you see that from that formation, you know the guy from that formation, Crow, is not running a go route. He take one step, he runs the speed out, you drive it. Jack Rabbit never got up his back pedal, and he knew from the alignment, what's the likelihood of Tom Brady being able to put this ball in front of him? So he jumps it.
That's what you do. You understand the offense. You know if he's that tight, he's going to go out. So guess what I'm going to play? I'm going to play outside leverage, and I'm going to let him go and gain to the out and jump the route.
Exactly.
That's it.
All I can say is Shannon Sharpe is going to be in bigger and bigger trouble as this year wears on, because Brady's going to get better and better in that offense, and they are going to win the NFC South.
Skip, I gave you 10-6. I was being generous. I gave you 10-6.
Skip, I gave you 10-6 or 11-5 now.
Well, see, we got some qualifications. 11-5. Shannon was saying, well, maybe. At one point, you were saying 11-ish.
No, I gave you 10-6. I was thinking 9-7.
Okay.
I just think the offense is going to get better. I think they haven't had everybody together on their offense. Godwin got hurt last week. He didn't play last week. Mike Evans didn't practice for 2 weeks because of a hamstring injury. So it's just a point of, once you get everybody healthy, get everybody on the same page, that's when things are going to work the way that it needs to. But not only that, man, once they give once you got the running game going, that's going to help Tom Brady.
Right,
now you're taking the pressure off him. You're getting Leonard Fournette. You're getting the younger guys the ball. Now you're able to do that. Now you think about, when you think about the New England offense again, you're going back to LeGarrette Blount, James White, and all those guys, those threats that he's had. Now he can create those mismatches. Now he can go down the field and run his play action like he needs to, and go out and go throw the ball where he needs to go. So now once you get the running game going, what's that do? That draws the safeties up. That keeps everybody on the defense coming up on. Now you got an 8-man box. Now you can throw the ball over everybody's head and do what you're supposed to do.
I got 12-4.
No.
Yep.
No.
Sorry.
No.
I got 10-6.
Confidence from that side of the table. Antonio, great to have you. Really appreciate your insight today. No mercy. Kevin Durant not being in the playoffs this year has impacted LeBron, according to former NBA All-Star Michael Redd. Redd said that with KD not being a factor, LeBron and the Lakers, quote, have to feel so confident that they can win it all. Shannon, is there any truth to this?
No, Skip. Man, the people need to stop this. KD was never a problem with LeBron until he joined the Golden State Warriors. LeBron was 17-5, whether he was in Miami or whether he was in Cleveland. That's fact. KD became a problem when he joined an MVP unanimous, arguably one of the 2 or 3 greatest shooting guards, the 2 best shooters on a team at one particular time in NBA history, and Draymond Green. That's when KD became a problem. That's not to diminish KD, but to say, oh, LeBron, Skip, things happen. You remember in the 91 finals when James Worthy and Byron Scott blew their hamstrings out? I guess Michael Jordan felt really confident that he was going to win the title that year. Or what about when Kevin Love and Kyrie? I guess Steph Curry felt real confident. Man, stop it. Skip. Things like this happen. Injuries happen. I don't think LeBron went to the sea, oh, man, this is my year. Ooh, I better get this thing done now because KD coming back next year. You don't think like that. You just think, hey, this is an opportunity for me. I know what I have. I got AD. Obviously, Skip, AD is new. You got to try to integrate him. Frank Vogel, new head coach. They got new pieces also. But to just think, oh, KD, that's why LeBron is feeling confident. LeBron is feeling confident because he's immensely talented. He knows the work that he puts into this. And so he says, you know what? With my God-given ability, the work that I put in, I should be able to take that to the court and capitalize on it. He's not thinking about KD, just like KD is not thinking about LeBron now. KD's like, I'm going to make sure this Achilles is healthy. Commissioner Silver, Adam Silver says they're thinking something around January 2020, and they're looking to play a full complement of games, 82. So for me, Skip, this is a whole bunch of, man, this is ridiculous. I don't get it. Everybody tries to take their shot at LeBron. Oh, he's feeling real confident. When has LeBron not felt confident?
When he had to play the Spurs every year?
He had to play, when? He felt real good.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah.
Ray Allen saved him?
Oh, my goodness. There you go with that.
Well, he got blown off the floor by a record finals margin by the Spurs. You think he's feeling real confident that year? I don't.
So he went into the season. Said, man, whew, after they had just beat the Spurs, I sure hope I don't face the Spurs. Stop it, Skip.
As the season wore on, that's what he was thinking, because he has as high a basketball IQ as there has ever been in this league. And he knows, and you know deep down, this is by far his easiest path to a ring.
No, it's not.
By far.
No.
In the first round, he draws 35 and 39 Portland.
You know, the best eight seed in the history of seeding. That's what that was told. That's what everybody was saying.
Not what I said.
Well, how many teams, let me ask you a question. In the history of the game, Skip, how many times have an 8 seed ever been picked over a 1 seed like Portland was picked over the Lakers?
I didn't. I said sweep. So this is my point of view, and I called it a mismatch and a joke. And it should have been, you know it, and I know it. And then Damian got hurt, and he was gone for the last couple of games, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then here comes Houston. Houston wins game 1, and I'm thinking this is going to be a battle.
Yeah.
And then it's 1-1, and Mike D'Antoni in the off day talks about, hey, Daniel House is as improved as any player in the league. He has become one of the better players in the league, said Mike D'Antoni a few hours before the bubble burst. And you know what happened in his room up in the hotel. And that was the end of him, and that was the end of the Rockets. Easiest path ever to a ring.
Stop this, Skip.
Then here come the Nuggets, and they're down 3-1 to Kawhi Leonard, one of the 2 men who can be kryptonite to LeBron James. Kawhi Leonard's team.
Skip, he beat him one time.
But they had 16-point lead, a 19-point lead, and a 12-point lead in 3 straight closeouts.
So how mentally tough is Kawhi?
They could not overcome the Nuggets.
Whoa.
I'll never get over it.
So that should be a mental flaw. Hold on, you say LeBron James is the mentally weakest superstar. Kawhi gave up 19, a 16, and a 15-point lead. So how mentally tough is he?
Looking ahead to LeBron. We got that. We got that. From game 1, they're looking ahead to LeBron.
That's a mental weakness. You're not able to focus on the task at hand. You're talking about something tomorrow when you need to focus on today. Skip, KD is KD. But to think LeBron James said, oh, this is my opportunity. Skip, things have happened. We've seen Magic Johnson. Remember when 89, was that 89? It was 89 when he hurt his hamstring against the Pistons.
I was there.
I was like, Skip, guys don't think like that.
So then what happens? There's no Kawhi Leonard, and here comes...
There was Kawhi. Kawhi played.
Huh?
Kawhi had his opportunity.
No, but you didn't have to deal with it.
No.
You got off the hook.
Whoa. So let me ask you a question. Would you have said the same thing? Would you have said this is the easiest path for Kawhi if LeBron had got knocked out by Portland or Houston? Absolutely not.
But nobody calls Kawhi the GOAT.
Yo, you do. You said he was the best player. Everybody keeps talking about, well, Kawhi should be considered as the great player because he would have he got 2 finals, 2 different teams. He was the MVP, although he was the 4th option. Let that sink in. Everybody knows at the time he was the 4th option. It went Duncan, Ginobili Parker, or whomever. Kawhi was the 4th option.
Okay. But now, he did guard LeBron.
Yeah, he guarded LeBron for 28, 7, and 8. Man, he did an unbelievable job.
He did, actually.
Unbelievable job at 27, 8, and 8. 27, 8, and 7, my bad.
2014, he did an unbelievable job.
Wow.
He was the MVP of that finals, in part because of the defensive job.
There are a lot of guys are probably you're gonna make all NBA every year if you average those numbers in the regular season against the greatest, one of the greatest wing defenders of all time. Skip, stop this. People just constantly try to take a shot at LeBron to try to minimize, because what they do if he were to win a title this year, well, Kawhi got knocked out, KD didn't play. They'll look. Nobody in the history of the game, greats, have ever been minimized. When the Rockets beat Magic and them twice, nobody said Bird dodged the bullet because he didn't have to face Magic and he faced the Rockets.
Yep.
Nobody said that when Bird and them got knocked out. Nobody said Magic dodged the bullet because such and such wasn't in it. Only LeBron James. We only do this. No, I'm not no we. People only do this to LeBron when he's about to win something, is that you got to try to find a way to minimize it. Why? I just want to know why we've never done this for any other superstar.
Because the facts are the facts. Who is still the best player in basketball? Who is the one nuclear weapon? It's Kevin Durant at 17.
No, he's not. Skip.
Unstoppable.
Nobody, no, only you think that. Only you and KD. And KD has a right to think that. But nobody else thinks KD is the best player in basketball currently.
In back-to-back finals, game threes, turning point game threes at LeBron's house, he took both games.
Remember in the report, he said he got upset because nobody thought he was the best player. Even though he won those finals MVP, everybody still said LeBron was the better player, because if LeBron had been with Clay and Steph and the shoes on the other foot, y'all make it seem like Kevin Durant put them up, Skip. That was a 73-19. They were 67-15 the year before.
Who was the best player on the team?
Skip.
Kevin Durant. Who did they call? What do you always tell the story of? Draymond went crying into the parking lot after LeBron and company came from 3-1 down to beat them. Please come save us.
Yes. Can I ask you a question? If LeBron James had teamed up with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, who would have been the best player on the team?
LeBron would.
Okay, then. So what you're saying?
Okay, but KD was above LeBron. He was playing at a higher level than LeBron.
If he was playing on a high level, why he go join them then? Why he go join them?
Because he wanted to get away from Russell Westbrook and go win his rings. He was in his 10th
He
season.
went to hold on. Miami had offers on the table. There were other teams that had offers. He went to the one team that was already in place. 73-9. They won 73 games.
They did.
They won 67 the year before. Skip, don't do that.
Maximize his chances to win.
Exactly.
Did he do it? Who was the finals MVP? Kevin Durant.
Let me ask you a question. To maximize his chances to beat who? Since you want to talk, Michael Red, who did Kevin Durant want to maximize his chances to beat?
Obviously.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And not obviously. People forget that Kevin Durant is still actually an active player.
Skip.
He's not there.
Skip.
He teamed up with the guy who made the shot that won LeBron his ring.
We had the block.
Kyrie.
Skip. So one shot. So all those moments, LeBron averaged more points, more rebounds and assists throughout their entirety. And so now it's just one shot. So we're going to forget about the block. The greatest block in the history of the game.
It was
the greatest block.
Bicycle
no, it wasn't.
To JR. He was the one who started it.
We just saw Kawhi Leonard block. Danny Green just blocked Powell Millsap in game 2.
Yeah.
Just like Kawhi did. Didn't he?
I don't really care.
Yeah, you do.
All I care is there's no Kevin Durant, and that's why I was pushing. I think Kevin Durant was healthy enough, Kyrie was healthy enough to join that Brooklyn team right here, right now, and make a run in these playoffs, and your man would be shaking in his shoes right now.
My man is worried about the Denver Nuggets. He's not worried about Brooklyn. He's not worried about Kevin Durant. He's not worried about anything but the Denver Nuggets. Those are the most important. Jamal Murray, Yost, Jeremy Grant, Millsap, those guys, Gary Harris Jr., Michael Porter Jr., those are the most important men in LeBron James.
The basketball gods just said, let there be LeBron.
I mean,
here, LeBron, just here, we will hand you your ring. Whoops, I lost my watch.
See, that's what you get.
No.
See, that's what you get. You know the man upstairs. You keep telling me God gonna strike us down.
I know what time it is.
No, God.
Yep.
See, I keep telling you, Skip, you keep on talking blasphemy about King James.
Yep.
You see what happened? Your watch come off.
The truth.
Your watch come off.
And I know it.
No, I don't know nothing.
Yep. If Kevin Durant were here, it would be a whole different story. If Kawhi were here, it's a whole different story.
Kawhi was there.
Look at what the odds makers did. They made the Clippers 8.5-point favorites every game against Denver until the last game. Your team is 6-point favorites in each of these games. What does that tell you?
It tells me
the odds makers are saying the Clippers were just better than the Lakers. Everybody knew it, and you got so lucky.
So let us think about what you're saying. The odds makers every game had the Clippers as 8-point favorites, and the Nuggets bounced their butt. So what does that tell you about the odds makers? Obviously, they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Because if you keep installing somebody's 8-point favorite and they get beat 3 straight times.
Yep. Because they're human and they're looking ahead to LeBron. That's all they wanted was LeBron.
That's a mental weakness.
They didn't want Joker. They didn't want Jamal.
Hold on. Skip. All you got to do is you take care of your business. I take care of my business. We gonna meet. Somebody took care of their business, and the other team was worried about my business. See, you in my business. Why you worried about what I got in my stew? Eat your stew, and then we gonna have an opportunity to compare stews at the end of the day.
Congratulations, you are 4-6 in the finals.
Right now we're 2-1 against the Nuggets.
4-6.
We're 2-1 against the Nuggets.
You just won your 4th ring.
We're 2-1 against the Nuggets. That's what we do. We don't do that, Skip Bayless.
You're about to be 3-1.
We don't make the mistake that Kawhi and that great historically great team, the Clippers, that had won absolutely nothing, that everybody bestowed the crown on their head. Where's that little crown? Where's that car that Kawhi's driving? It's on blocks. It on blocks. The little crown. It detonated. Boom.
Congratulations.
I think
it's cakewalk.
I'm gonna have to redo the commercial, though. I just don't know if you can keep airing that thing.
And they still airing that commercial.
It's not as powerful.
They need to take that commercial off.
It's Kawhi time in 2021.
Not yet.
Kawhi time. Where is Kawhi time? I want to go visit.
No mercy.
Time magazine released its top 100 most influential people in the world list for 2020. And while several athletes, including Giannis Antetokounmpo and Patrick Mahomes, made the list, LeBron James was absent after making it last year. So, Shannon, how do you explain this?
I can't offer without any explanation. I don't really know what the criteria. Skip, LeBron James is the most influential athlete in all the world. He's a big part of the culture, the sneaker sales. He's number 2 behind Michael Jordan. That in and of itself. And then the I Promise School, more than a vote. Skip, he's a lot of these guys, Patrick Mahomes, who made the list, LeBron helped bring him on to his vote campaign. Skip, this is Giannis had an unbelievable season. But Giannis is not more influential than LeBron James. Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football. I actually believe that. The best quarterback, the best player. He's not more influential than LeBron James, Skip. So I don't know what Time Magazine was thinking here. This makes no sense. I wish I can say, well, you know what? LeBron had an off year with his influence. And the things that he brought attention to, he's been very outspoken about the social issues that we see going on that's happening in our society, Skip. He's been very outspoken. And to say he made it this year, but he made it last year, but not this year, what happened? Did LeBron James not speak up enough? Did he not speak loudly enough? Like I said, no disrespect. I think Giannis is an unbeliever. He's the MVP, deserving. Patrick Mahomes, the Super Bowl MVP or a former league MVP. But they're not more influential than LeBron James, Skip. No way, no how. And you won't find anybody in the world that will tell you these 2 individuals that made it are more influential than LeBron James.
Okay. This time, I am with you, and I'm going to double down on what you just said. We are talking about LeBron off the court.
Yes.
When I saw this, when I tried to digest this, I was dumbfounded because maybe times 10 he's more influential than any other name on this list.
Yes.
So in the top 100 is Patrick Mahomes. Great kid. He's starting to come out a little bit as far as being a crusader, being a spokesman. He's showing signs, but LeBron James, come on. Then we got Giannis, Dwayne Wade. Okay, I got it. The F1 driver, Lewis Hamilton. Then we got Maya Moore, Naomi Osaka, Megan Rapinoe. They're all in their own ways.
Yes.
They all.
Maya Moore, what she's been able to do to give up 2 years of her career and get the young man free. Congratulations on her. She got married.
She did. All great. Times 10, it's LeBron.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure this out because it talks about the criteria for the list, artists and leaders and titans and icons. Okay. Well, wait a second. It's LeBron James.
Yes.
When something socially, racially happens, the first person I want to hear from beyond anybody in our government is LeBron James.
Yeah.
Seriously, I always tell you, I hang on his every word. I hung on his tweets yesterday about Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
I wanted to see how he handled it. His last tweet was, I'm sorry to her family. I'm sorry. It was powerful because that's what he does.
All I'm going to say is this. When the sheriff of L.A. County, when he said, we got $100,000,
Yep.
we need such and such to match it, what name did he use? Did he use Giannis? Did he use Patrick Mahomes? What name did he use, Skip?
That's a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah, but I'm saying, that goes to show you.
Okay, that goes to show you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I wonder if you have a Time magazine committee and they sit down and for several weeks they compile their list and everybody offers names across the table. Is it possible they forget about LeBron James? No.
No.
Is there an accident? Can you have an accident here? No.
No.
So I'm trying to figure out, you have to have some reason to exclude.
Right.
And is there an axe to grind? I don't know one. I don't see one.
And Skip, and given what Michael has done over the last 6 months to a year,
maybe.
How did he not make it?
Okay.
He gave $100 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody have Skip? He's got to be. He's still the top, Skip. He's still Mike. He walks into a room and everybody is in awe. He's still Michael Jordan.
He is. But again, I think he has some regret and he's trying to make up for what he didn't do.
Yes.
For all those many years. LeBron has been upfront on this from day one. He has risked losing some endorsements.
Yes.
I hope he hasn't. Maybe he hasn't because he was actually right ahead of the curve, just right on the curve.
Yes.
And you want to talk about tone setting? You want to talk about iconic spokesman as an athlete?
Right.
Well, it's just there's never
and he's always tweeting about things and about how disappointed he is. And when will our people get shown the respect? When will our community be taken care of? When will people hear our voices, hear our cries? He's always doing that, Skip. He's always done that. Skip, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to come to a conclusion. I'm like, how do you feel that these guys are more influential than LeBron James? The man opened a school.
You could maybe add all of them up and they wouldn't equal LeBron.
Yeah.
Seriously.
With Skip, with his social media reach, he got 72 million IG followers, probably another 50, 60 million on Twitter, and probably another, 10, 15 million on Facebook. His reach is, only Ronaldo or Messi has his reach, but they're not as influential.
Nope.
It is fascinating, guys. I don't know what we're missing here because I hang on his every word as well. I think we all do.
No mercy.
All right, tonight, LeBron and the Lakers look to bounce back from their Game 3 loss against the Nuggets. The Lakers had been on a 6-game winning streak before the loss and are hoping to get within one game of a finals appearance with a win tonight. So, Shannon, who wins and what is the score?
Lakers. Lakers going to come out, Skip. They're going to come out with that intensity, that ferocity that we expected them to come out with, what I expected them to come out with in game 3, but they came out with it in game 1 and 2. But the Nuggets going to make a run at them. I'm going to say the final score be 112 to 107. I'm going to get 5 points.
By 5?
Yeah.
Okay, they're 6-point favorites.
Yeah.
So you say they won't cover?
No.
Okay.
No. They're going to make a run late. You know, we be ahead. Get them little ticky-tack points late, but, we have it at hand.
Okay, I will agree with you on this. The Nuggets will not go away and go quietly tonight, but I believe this will be LeBron's tour de force night. I believe he will play the most dominant game of these playoffs so far. He will impose his will early and often on the Nuggets, and I believe he will go 32, 10, and 12. And that they will hold off the Nuggets 105 to 100. And I believe he will be great early and great late.
You know what, Skip? I ain't going to be more than that. I'm going to give him 37, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. AD goes 33, 10, and 4.
Okay, so you barely win our bet.
I better win that bet.
You say 70-plus points for your two superstars. I like your math, but I don't like your prediction.
I got it. We got this with 37-13-8 for Bron, 33-10-4 for AD.
I got quiet night for all done.
Yeah, are you feeling like...
No, ain't no quiet night. Oh, he gonna be on the mission
Shannon
tonight.
have the goat mask tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
That is it for Undisputed. We're back same time tomorrow. Have a good day, guys.